Hello, everybody. This is Scorpio,
In the Aquarius.
and today, what is our topic?
Well, I guess we don't have an official topic or anything.
What do you mean by that? No topic. Well, why don't we talk about your locks?
Yes, when I talk about why I decided to start growing dreadlocks or Jata, whatever you would like to call them, letting my hair lock up. Okay, so I'm like getting distracted. So I'm thinking.
Well, where did this all begin? All right, let's start from the beginning. All right, why dreadlocks, and why did you decide to do them kind of like just free-forming locks? Like, why did you choose that?
Semi-freeforming. Okay, so what I guess I guess I've always liked the look of dreadlocks, and I never wanted to go down that route because I liked the versatility of being able to style my hair like any way I wanted to, quote unquote, when pretty much all I did was just wash, dry, stretch, twist, redo, rewind, and again. So I guess, but I liked having to wear it out and whatever, just whenever I wanted to and whatnot. But I also really liked the way dreadlocks look, obviously, right? They look awesome. And whenever we've been in the Caribbean, especially, seeing all the different types of varieties and kinds of dreadlocks all over the place, it's like so awesome. Yeah. So, I think recently, I guess I've been thinking more and more about possibly trying to grow dreadlocks. So I always started researching it, and it looked super complicated. So I think I decided I wasn't going to, because I noticed that here in the mainland, the majority of people that do or have put their hair in dreadlocks go to like the salon, or at least the majority of people I was finding, like, cause I would look on YouTube and the places like how to do dreadlocks and what's the best way to do it. And a lot of it's like manufactured dreadlocks, or like where they go and have someone set in with either twist or whatever. Basically, you have to go to a salon and have it maintained by going to the salon often and whatnot. And that just looked really super complicated and annoying, so I didn't want to deal with that. So I think like recently I was like, I was looking into it more, and then saw people that were doing freeform locks, was basically you just let your hair do what it's supposed to, which is what, if you have super curly hair, if you just let it do what it's gonna do, it's gonna freeform into locks eventually, right? So I was like, doy, I could just do it this way. What? And I actually really like the way freeform locks look compared to like the more styled look, or not styled, but like manufactured look. I don't know what to call it, but so I like the way the freeform locks looked better to me. Yeah, right. So I figured I could give this a try, I guess, right?
Well, how long have you been doing it now for? And is there anything that comes from having locks? Is it just because you like the way it looks, or is there potentially something else, something greater than that? Tell me more about like everything you kind of like know about locks in general.
Well, let's see. So I think I started was like 2-3 months ago.
Yeah.
March. To just let it. I did the 2-strand twist, and then took them out and just let them go, and they're formed into pretty, I guess you call them immature locks right now, but they're still locks. They are locks, and so they are doing what they're supposed to do. But so I've had them for a couple of months now, and I'm actually quite happy with them. And I'm happy that I actually decided to do this because it's way easier than what I was doing before. And I know they're not even at their full mature stage yet, so I think it gets easier, I guess. Wait, so let me back up a little bit. So I think there's like a somewhat spiritual aspect of kind of just letting your hair do, at least for me, letting your hair do what it wants to do. I kind of get or I guess I get it's there's a freedom to it. Is that the word I'm looking for? A spiritual, like, it's almost like you are letting it do its own thing, and somehow that's connecting you somehow or way or another to a higher or bigger part of yourself that wasn't there before. So it's like there's a lot of spiritual evolving, at least for me, that goes along with semi-free forming locks. So at least that's what I've noticed so far. It was like the most awesome thing. It's like as soon as I stopped trying to comb my hair out, it was like a breath of fresh air. I was like, wow, why didn't I think to do this before? This is amazing. So it's been about 3 months, 4 months now. I guess so. I'm at the stage that I think, what is it, people would call the awkward stage of it, or immature stage of the dreadlocks. Because they're sort of they're actual dreadlocks in most of my part of my head. Like there's around the edges, it hasn't locked up quite as much, but for the most part they're pretty locked up. But that's at a point where it's kind of where I'm used to having a little bit longer hair and doing more stuff with it, so pulling it back or wear a lot of updos. It's a little bit harder to do that because once they form their mature lock, okay, I guess not mature, but as soon as they lock up, they kind of shrink up a little bit. So I'm kind of at the stage where it's like, oh, I can't do the normal things I used to do with it as far as pulling it back and putting it in a lot of updos at the moment, until it grows out more. So for me, it's a little different because I can't do as much as I used to do with it, but it's still really awesome. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it progresses. So yes, needless to say, well, probably because I said it already, I'm really enjoying this, and I call it semi-freeform because I think freeform is when you don't do anything at all, you just let them grow out. Semi-freeform is you can maybe start them a certain way, but you don't do a lot of a lot of people I think will do retwists, where they twist down the base of it, the new growth every month or so or whatever. And semi is more where you kind of do a little bit of manufacturing or gently coercing it to a certain look. So as far as retwisting, I think I've done one so far a couple of weeks ago, sort of a retwist, just to get it to where I could pull it up, do more stuff with it. But for the most part, I'm just letting it do its thing, and it's quite cool. So that's the main thing. Yeah, so
that's that, huh? Sounds pretty good overall. It's like that's definitely I like it. I like the way it looks. It's very professional, very versatile. There's a lot of things you can do with it. It looks fantastic on you. I think it's the best look that most people can have. It's very unique and very kind of.
Well, wait a minute. If everyone had it, would it be unique?
Yeah, because each way that people have locks, it's like kind of like individual. They like kind of form in different ways, and for each person, it's kind of like unique. Still, it's not like everyone has like blonde hair kind of a thing, and everyone looks like the Justin Bieber haircut or whatever. It's like it's the locks form kind of for the person themselves.
Nah, I guess that's interesting. No, well, I like different hairstyles and ways people have their hair and whatever. All like different varieties or whatever. So I do particularly like the way dreadlocks look. I will agree with that. But I like all kinds of hair types and what people do with their hair and stuff. I think if I wasn't doing what I'm doing now, I probably would have been a hair person. But I also think people should take care of their own hair. Hence why I kind of shied away from growing dreadlocks when I was under the impression that you had to go to a salon to get them, but then I realized that you didn't. Then I was like all into it, right? But yeah, yeah. So
that's cool. Kind of go ahead and kind of wrap it up. It seems like we had a lot of talk about locks. Anything you'd like to add on before we head out?
I don't think so. And I guess, yeah. So you think this looks the coolest on me? Oh, so you think that this hairstyle looks the coolest on me? So I've heard him say before. Is that correct?
That is very correct. I'm kind of biased. I actually prefer dreadlocks and the way they look more than any other hairstyle in the first place. That and the fro are like my two favorites. So kind of biased. I don't really like other hairstyles very much, but that's just me.
You don't like the variety that I like? Okay. But anyway, yeah. So just I guess this is mostly for hopefully anyone listening to this gets some kind of information out of it. I don't know. I know people that have a lot of. There's tons and tons of YouTube people that have their own like lock stories or how they decide to do their own dreadlocks or whatever other hairstyles they wanted to do. I figured I'd just add my 2 cents in, just because I felt like making a video about it. So anyone listening to this, I hope they enjoyed or not, whatever. But if you have the inkling to maybe grow dreadlocks, you probably should. And I'm getting the impression that, well, I guess, like I said, it's just mainly for me, though, that it was like the best way for me to go about it was do it on my own in semi-freeform or freeform, whatever. I don't think any other way would have been quite as nice to me. Nice of an experience to me. So, yes, that is it.
And this is Scorpio.
Oh, yes, an Aquarius. Peace out.